I am your Food Corps service member. So cooking is one of my favorite things in the world to do, and I'm hoping to share lots of fun cooking videos with you and your scholars this year. But before we can have fun in the kitchen together, we need to talk about something that's very important, which is safety in the kitchen. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is how to use knives safely in our kitchen. So knives come in all shapes and sizes, but they are very sharp. And when we use things that are sharp, we need to be very careful or else we can hurt ourselves. So today we're going to talk about some ways that we can use knives safely in the kitchen so that we're all on the same page and so that we can use knives when we're cooking together in the future. Here we go. Your cutting board is sliding a lot on your surface, what you can do is you can put a kitchen towel underneath it, and that can help kind of stabilize it a little bit better. And if you don't have a cutting board, you can also just use a plate, and same goes if you find that your plate is moving, you can put it on a kitchen towel as well. Alright, so tip number 1 for using knives safely in the kitchen is to always make sure that your knife stays down on your cutting board when you're not using it. Tip number 2 for using knives safely in the kitchen is to make a bear claw when you're doing your cutting. So the bear claw is a technique that helps us keep our knuckles and fingers out of the way while we're chopping. So when you make a bear claw, you go like this and you put it on you put like the fingernail part of your fingers on the part that you're chopping, and then your knife should only ever hit your knuckles. So it helps make sure that your fingers aren't out like that. Okay, so this is the bear claw, and with you have the bear claw, this is keeping the onion stable underneath me because I'm pushing down on it, and then my knife is staying away from my fingers. And as you're chopping, you can just keep kind of slowly moving your bear claw back away from what you're chopping. Just like that. Tip number 3 is to always make sure that you are looking down at what you're doing on your cutting board, not looking all over the place or getting distracted. You always want to be looking at what you're cutting. Tip number 4 for using knives safely in the kitchen is just take your time. You don't need to be in a rush to cut through any of your veggies. Go slow and focus on what you're doing. Now, if you get to a point where you feel like you're not comfortable holding this anymore, like your bear claw is kind of sliding off the side or whatever, then just put that aside and have an adult chop that up instead of having a child, just in case, because we want to make sure that everyone's staying super safe. Okay, tip number 5 for using knives safely in the kitchen is to cut your food in a way that makes it the most comfortable for you to hold and for you to cut. So I'll show you what this means. You have something round like an onion here. If you go to chop it, it can move and roll while you're trying to chop it. So what I like to do is, if you have something like an onion where you can cut the edges off, which is what I did, you want to do that so you're creating a flat surface that's more stable to cut on. This is more stable than this. If you have something like a bell pepper or I don't know, some kind of citrus or something where you're not necessarily cutting off an end, you can also cut a little piece off the side like this. Oh, let's take a better piece. So instead of having a rounded edge like this, you have a nice flat edge that you can then rest your onion on to make it more stable. All right, so another quick tip is to try and keep your cutting board as clean as you can. Sometimes when you have too many chopped things on your cutting board, it can kind of get in the way of whatever you're chopping next. So I think that whenever you have completed chopping whatever you were chopping, before moving on to the next thing, just kind of move it to another plate so that it's not interrupting your flow of what you're chopping next. All right, great job everyone practicing that knife safety and those knife skills. Knives are one of the handiest tools to have in the kitchen, so it's important that we learn how to use them safely first before we start using them in other videos. So keep practicing that knife safety at home, and I look forward to cooking with you in future videos. I will see you all next time on Fun and Food with Miss Taylor Brinks, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye, and happy cooking!